First off, I thought the key part about President Obama's quote was that the Russians did not actually manipulate any votes.
Yeah, we knew that already.
Oh, wait a minute. In the immediate aftermath of the 2016 election, you could hardly find a Democrat who was not screaming that Russia rigged the election.
Why are we talking about this? This is not the issue. You're trying to avoid the subject.
President Obama said that Russia did not manipulate any votes. We should note that because every liberal in America said that was the case for 3 years.
You're doing everything you're possible not to talk about the fact that the President of the United States, the current President of the United States, just accused a former president of treason.
That's political commentator Brad Todd casually mentioning a basic fact and instantly triggering a full-on meltdown from a Clinton crony on CNN. That's how fragile this whole Russiagate fantasy has become. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like even whispering the word Russiagate still sends Obama world into full panic mode because Tulsi Gabbard just detonated their entire fake narrative. And instead of covering the substance, establishment media is crying foul. You know, these people push the hoax for years. Now they're demanding we just move on. I mean, you can feel how hard CNN is working to memory hole the whole thing. Here's Phillip and a former Clinton aide unraveling over Tulsi's bombshell.
It has been 8 years since the immediate aftermath of the 2016 election.
The fact that Obama is now undoing the Democrat mythology of 2016
there have been multiple reports. There have been there's been a major bipartisan Senate report that was led by Marco Rubio, who now works in Donald Trump's administration. We have known for many years that the Russians did not manipulate the votes, okay?
Right. Not that they didn't even influence votes. They've had intentions of meddling in the election.
Again,
but they didn't.
With no evidence. That is the problem.
You can calm down. I don't think he's guilty of treason. I don't think he'll be prosecuted.
Why don't you talk about that instead of talking about Obama?
Because Obama just undid 3 years of Democrat mythology.
What?
Please, let's not talk about this. I don't want to talk about your distractions. The problem is, this is what Trump does. He distracts everybody. He's talking about President Obama because he doesn't want to talk about Epstein. He's talking about the Washington Commanders and the Cleveland Guardians because he doesn't want to talk about Epstein. He releases the Martin Luther King files because he doesn't want to talk about Epstein. He's doing everything possible except talking about Jeffrey Epstein because he's trying to throw up distractions so that people like you, Todd, can come on TV and try to diffuse the issue.
I have tried to agree with you, and you're violently not letting me.
I'm not doing anything violently.
I've said he's not guilty of treason. He shouldn't be prosecuted. I've tried to violently.
So, Brad, is this a distraction or not?
Because I think he's entitled to be a little chapped at the way the Department of Justice treated him and spied on him during the 2016 campaign. I think he's entitled to that. I think he's entitled to be chapped at the way the Democrats said his victory wasn't legitimate for his entire first term.
I think he's
I think he's entitled to be chapped over the fact that Democrats tried to impeach him and tried to undo what was legitimately done by the voters. So yes, President Trump gets a right to pitch a bit of a fit.
He does not get the right to call a former president treason and suggest the prosecution of that former president.
I said that. I'll say it for the third time. I'm going to say it for the third time.
I mean, you know it's a direct hit when CNN tries to calm their guests down like toddlers at a fireworks show. Phillip is doing damage control in real time while this guy acts like someone just insulted a religious figure. Tulsi Gabbard didn't just say Russiagate was overblown. She laid out hard evidence. As Trump's DNI, she declassified documents proving Obama's intel team manufactured a fake Russia helped Trump narrative, despite admitting there was no vote tampering and no altered outcomes. And instead of reporting that, CNN has their panels spiraling over how dangerous it is to go after a former president. These are the same people who chanted lock him up about Trump and pushed case after bogus case. Here's Kaitlan Collins trying to bury the story entirely and getting completely dismantled by Karoline Leavitt.
You referenced the past intelligence reports and assessments on this, including that 2017 one that was signed off, as Ed noted, by every Republican on the Senate intelligence community, including the acting chair of the time, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said in a statement that they did not find any evidence of Russian collusion, but they did find, however, is very troubling, and they found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. One, are you saying that he's wrong in that statement that he made then? And secondly, what would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
I'll speak to both questions. First, on Secretary Rubio, he put out a statement in 2020 following that Senate Intelligence Committee report, and he said what they found is troubling. We found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling, which the Director of National Intelligence just confirmed for all of you, that Russia was trying to sow distrust and chaos chaos. But what's the outrage in this that Secretary Rubio did not say at the time, the Democrats were saying at the time, is the fact that the intelligence community was concocting this narrative that the president colluded with the Russians, that the president's son was holding secret meetings with the Russians, all of these lies that were never true. And he also said at that time, we discovered deeply troubling actions taken by the FBI under Comey, particularly their acceptance and willingness to rely on the Steele dossier without verifying its methodology or sourcing. The Steele dossier that many outlets in this room ran as the gospel truth, and it was cooked up and paid for by the Clinton campaign. As for your second question, Kaitlan, I think who is saying that she would release this to try to boost her standing with the president? Who has said that?
Well, the president has publicly undermined her when it came to Iran. He said she was wrong. He told me that she didn't know what she was talking about. That was on Air Force One on camera.
The only people who are suggesting that the director of national intelligence would release evidence to try to boost her standing with the president are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working. I will just answer your question directly. I am with the President of the United States every day. He has the utmost confidence in Director Gabbard. He always has. He continues to, and that is true of his entire cabinet, who is all working as one team to deliver on the promises this president made.
You know, Kaitlan Collins is trying to pretend this is just politics as usual, but you can hear the desperation in her voice. I mean, Leavitt laid out every fact they didn't want mentioned on air. CNN cut away the second Tulsi Gabbard said Obama's name, because their entire Russiagate grift falls apart if people realize it came from the top. They've ignored Durham's findings, ignored FISA abuse, ignored the Steele dossier fraud, but they had wall-to-wall coverage of Trump's classified documents case, which Biden himself also violated. This isn't about justice. It's about rigging the system to protect Democrats and bury anyone who exposes them. Tulsi's evidence shows a conspiracy to interfere with democracy led by Obama's intel team, and CNN is still pretending it's not news. But let me know what you think. Will Tulsi Gabbard's Russiagate revelations result in real consequences for Obama and the intelligence community? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.